Hello everyone, good evening. How are you? I hope you're all doing really well. I'm just going to check that I can see everything and you guys can see me, so just bear with. Oh yeah, I popped up there and I dismissed myself because of my noise. Yay, that's better. Hey, hello Alison, how are you? Hello Jessica, how are you doing? I hope you're all really well. I feel like I'm as straight as I'm going to be. Hello Danielle, how are you? How is everybody today? Oh, I keep having a little bit of interruption, so if we lose connection for whatever reason, just bear with and I will come back. I don't know whether there's just something weird going on with Facebook or it's the internet playing up, but hopefully it's you're not having any issues with the broadcast at your end. Hello Monica, Alison says all good here, how is your neck? To be honest with you, it's been much better today. Today is the first day where I've not really noticed it, if you understand that. It's been a niggle and it's been quite bad in the night and first thing in the morning until today, but I've had a really busy day today, so I don't know whether that's I've just not noticed it because I've just had to get on with things. So but yeah, I've been fine all afternoon, so fingers crossed it might be gone. Do let me know if you're having any problems with seeing that everything seems to be fine. I just keep getting, every now and again, I keep getting a little alert that says live video has been interrupted. So hopefully everything is okay. So I'll give everyone a little bit of a chance to join us. I'll have a little drink of my tea. Maybe that is just at my end, I don't know. Is everyone doing okay then? Hello to Rianne, Elizabeth is with us. Did I say hello to you, Esther? I apologise if I didn't. I certainly meant to. Hi Nicola, how are you? So if hopefully everything is working and it'll Facebook will write itself as we go along, hopefully. But for tonight's project, tonight's card, I had a little bit of an idea last week of something that I wanted to do, and we didn't get a chance to do it because we were making we spent a bit of time making our Happy Mail card, which I really enjoyed. Thank you Danielle for confirming that everything's okay at your end, so it must just be me that's having a few little issues, so I'll just keep going until it stops. Hello Laura Ann, hello to Yvonne, Jessica's here, and Claire says hello to crafting at yours tonight. So we're crafting in Lincoln there tonight, are we? And what are you crafting this evening? Let me know. And if anybody else is crafting along with me tonight, do let me know what you're doing, because I love to know what projects you're working on, and it's really nice when we can all craft along together, which is really cool. So for tonight's project, I'm going to do something. I wasn't going to do this colour scheme originally, but because our September challenge started, yesterday, with this autumn colour scheme, I thought actually it would be quite a good project to do for tonight, so that I can just remind you all about the challenge, and to get entering, as this is probably going to be our last challenge that we do for the rest of the year. We've got some other things planned for the last few months of the year, so we won't be running the challenges for the rest of the year, but they may well return in the new year. But this is going to be the last challenge for the moment. So if you want an opportunity to share your projects, use the colour scheme and the theme as a bit of a inspiration for you, a bit of a jumping off point for your project, use your Time for Tea products and have an opportunity to win. So you could win £25 to spend in the store. So so it's really, really worth taking part, because especially if you're, you know, you've got your Time for Tea goodies, even if they're the free digistamps that you've got off the website, you can make a quick project, upload it and have a chance of winning some more goodies to add to your stash. So Alison says she's setting up a new printer for digi-printing. Woohoo! Exciting. You'll have to let us know how you get on, because I find setting up printers to be quite a stressful situation. So hopefully you don't have that issue and you're much better than me. Hello to Becky and hello to Lee. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to use the autumn colour scheme in my project tonight. Now, I've printed this off on my printer, Alison, and this is my old printer, the one that I use just for day-to-day printing. I don't use this for printing anything, you know, that I need to be a bit more special and a bit of a better colour, I suppose, representation. So this hasn't actually coloured the printed out the colours exactly as they appear on screen. This colour here is far more red. It appears brown here on the picture and on screen, but I would say it's probably more this kind of deep burgundy kind of a red colour that you see in the leaves. So I am going to ignore that colour and introduce something that's a bit more of a deep, rich kind of red into, which is more accurate compared to the colour scheme that Jane put together for the challenge for us. So mine doesn't look that representative, but I love the kind of the mustard yellow, the lovely burnt orange colour, and then the deep browns, which I think are really nice colours for autumn. So I'm going to use those. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to team it up with a summery kind of stamp set, I suppose. So this is part of our summer release, and this is the Sunday Sweeties, and this has been out of stock. The last release sold out just so quickly, it's been unreal. But I wanted to let you know that all of the last release items are now back in stock. So the Sunday Sweeties are back in stock, the Hello Cupcake, Birthday Bear, and what was the last one that's just slipped my mind? The Cool Critters, of course. So if you've missed out on getting those before, then do please check out the website, because we have added more stock to those items. So they are in the new release section on the website, and they're now back in stock. So I wanted to use one of those because I feel like, because they went out of stock so quickly, I haven't really had a chance to play with them so much, and I thought it'd be really interesting to see if we can make this one of these images work with that colour scheme. And I really want to use this guy here, because I'm going to make a slimline card. So I think he will go nicely on the front of a slimline. I don't know who's on as Time for Tea, so hello, whoever has joined us. Is it Natalie? Is that you again? But yes, oh, it's Annalisa, I've seen now. Hello, Annalisa. And so many have sold out on Simon Says Stamp as well. Yes, that's right. So if you guys didn't know, we're now available, or some of our stamps are now available with Simon Says Stamp. However, we have sold out a lot of the lines that we sent them. So hopefully they'll be restocking those as well, because I do have extra stock that I've put aside for them as well. So yeah, it's really exciting, but I would say grab them, because they do seem to keep going out of stock so quickly. Okay, so let's make a start. I'm thinking I might make my background first, because then I'll know what colours I'm working with, even though we're following this colour scheme here. So I'll keep referring back to that. But I want to make, like I say, a slimline card. And I'm going to make my card base out of this dark brown, because I really love this chocolate. It's a really kind of like a dark chocolate colour. And I also want to use the Lots of Love slimline die. I've not used this for such a long time, so I thought I'd bring this out and we'd have a go at it. Now I don't have a slimline card base for this, so I'm going to, let me have a look. And our Lots of Love slimline die is the exact size of the largest kind of frame that we have for slimline die. So I know that I want it to be slightly bigger than that, because I want you to be able to see some of that lovely brown cardstock around the edges. So there are two things that I could do. I could use our lovely friend die set, and this slimline die set is larger than a standard size slimline. So you can see here that my standard size slimline fits really neatly in the middle of that. So I think that actually works really, really well and looks really cute. So I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do to make my card is I'm going to cut two of these out and make my card base out of them. So that's the plan. So let's try that. So I'll cut this out first. And there's going to be a bit of die cutting required here. Let me just cut this down so that I can place it. Actually, I'm going to cut it closer, because I should be able to get two. Yeah, I should be able to get two pieces out of this piece of cardstock. So let's snuggle that up to one end. There we go. And let's just snip it with my lovely big paper scissors. These are We Are Memory Keepers paper scissors, and they are the best paper scissors that I've had. And I'm going to pop this through the big Gemini bad boy, but if you have a smaller die cutting machine, you can still use it. You'll just have to pop it through twice, just shift it along so that you can fit it through. Sorry about the noise. Hello Mihaela, how are you? Oh, knocking things over as usual. It's lovely to see everyone joining us tonight. Annalisa says she loves the slimline dies, and she's photographing a card that used one on as we speak. I couldn't say that, Annalisa, for some reason. I don't know why. Tripping over my words. So that's one piece. And then I'm going to pop it over the other side. Oh, I didn't scoot it over enough. I don't think it's quite big enough. Oh, what's an error. So learn from my mistakes. You can actually fit two onto an A4 piece of cardstock if you're not a silly sausage like me. So let's get another piece of cardstock, shall we? Yes. So I wasn't being as frugal there as I should have been, but thankfully I have another piece of cardstock here that I have cut into already. So we can use that piece, can't we? So let's use that one. You had a hard time typing it as well, Annalisa. I think it's definitely been a long day today for me. So if I do lose the ability to speak, I apologise in advance. Mihaela says she's just had dinner and should go back to the craft room, but the sofa is just too comfy. about the noise, guys. I totally understand that feeling, Michaela, because I also I had my dinner just before coming on to the live, so I thought, you know, I really need to eat before we come on, and yeah, I was sat watching a bit of TV and I thought, oh, this, you know, I could actually just I guess just couch potato the rest of the evening away, but no, I've been looking forward to doing the live tonight because I'm excited to try this idea out. So yeah, so it's good to keep going. Hello to Jane. Hello Cheryl, how are you? I feel that there are some first time watchers, so I'm really you know, excited for you guys to join me and have a craft along. So these are gonna form my card base, and you can, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see that they've got this little little pin dot design that goes around each of the scallops, which is really cool. But if I turn those kind of wrong side together, then you've got yourself a really nice card base. So I'm going to pop that to one side. We're going to cut this out of some white cardstock, and I'm also going to cut from that slimline scallop trio of circles set a blank piece also in white, because we're going to do a bit of ink blending behind our panel. So using all of the slimline dies today. Loving this. Loving a bit of slimline die usage. So I've got a bit of our our super smooth cardstock. I've got slimlines on the brain. And I'm going to pop these just onto here with a bit of my washi tape, so they don't shift around too much, and hopefully these will go through the die cutting machine no problem. My plates are a little bit curved, which can sometimes be a bit of an issue when you're putting longer plates through, but because you don't always get the full amount of pressure all the way along the sides. But let's give it a go. Again, apologies for the noise. That is the only problem with the, I feel, see, this one hasn't had quite enough pressure along this side. I think this one seems to have done the job, so that's good, but I am going to have to pop this one back through. And I can feel where that was positioned, so I should be able to get that second time around, and it be positioned in the right place, she says. I might have to apply a bit more tape to it because of that curve. So let's put a bit more tape on there, and we'll try it the other way around this time. Oops. Hopefully it hasn't shifted. Let's see if I've done a better job that time. Yeah, I think I did. I don't think it's shifted. No, that looks good to me. Whee! Look at all of those little pieces coming out. So I am going to have to poke some of these out. Some of them are still a little bit stuck in there, I think. But for the most part, that appears to have cut. So, and you get lots of lovely waste with this. And the ones that haven't quite fully come out because of my warped plates, we can tidy those up just with a bit of a craft knife. But I love this die, and I love this kind of heart lattice effect. It's really, really cool. So, and you, like I say, you get all this waste as well. So you've got all of these little white hearts Let me just try and just scrape some of these off. And you can save those and use those for other projects. You might want to put them in shakers, or just use them on the front of your cards. These plates do need a good clean, actually. So, sorry if that noise went through everyone as well, by the way. I do apologise for that. I didn't think about that when I started scraping. Then it might not have sounded that great for you guys. So, Annalisa says, hi Zamara, how are you? That she's not great with colour scheme challenges, so she can't wait to see how this turns out. So I like a colour scheme challenge, as long as I like the colour scheme. So where I struggle is there are some colour schemes where I think, oh no, that I wouldn't have, you know, that's not what I would have chosen, and I'm not sure about that. But a lot of the time I struggle with what colour am I gonna choose? You know, I spend ages deliberating. I'm just gonna pop these in there because I don't know if I might use them at some other time. Yeah, so I spend ages deliberating over it, and so having someone else to do that for me and take the thought process out of it, I find that really, that's one less thing for me to have to think about, you know. So I do quite like a colour challenge sometimes. I also quite like a sketch challenge, because that can really help take some of the thought process out of it for me as well. And then I can just concentrate on doing the bit that I enjoy, which is the actual colouring in and, you know, stamping and creating with my critters and some of my dies. So you can see where these have just got a little bit caught. I don't want to risk putting it through my die cutting machine a third time, because the chances are I'm not going to line that up properly. So yeah, where it's just a little bit still just a little bit attached, I can just use my craft knife in the little groove that because it has, you know, it's almost cut, but it's just hanging on by a little thread of cardstock. So I can just help that along with my craft knife, and then that'll just tidy that up for us. So just a couple of those on this side. So if you do have, you know, if you've got warped plates like I have, I know there are a couple of tutorials that are online that you can get to help you unwarp them, but I have tried the technique of running them under hot water and bending them, which does work to a point, but they then tend to, you know, tend to just warp again quite quickly afterwards. So it's just one of those things, unfortunately. So what I try to do usually is to line my dies up in the centre of my plates, and that usually fixes it. But there we go, that's not too bad now, is it? That's fine. So a little bit of repair work there, and that's fixed that, no worries. So hello to Jackie and Alice, how are you? Dishwasher was amazing, then swap the directions. So is that a tip to help with the warping of the plates? Sorry, I just need to blow my nose. Got a little bit of a runny nose there. Okay, so I've left a little bit just in the top there. Where's my pokey tool gone? There it is. I'll use my pokey tool to poke that one out. Okay, so you can see now a little bit of where I'm going with this. So this is going to sit on the top of here, this white panel that we've got here, and then that's going to sit on top of our scalloped card base, which is going to look really cute. But I'm going to ink blend the background. So we'll do that in a second. I'm going to finish off our card base. So to finish off the card base, so Alice is saying put the plates in the dishwasher and then put a sticker on the up plate and then swap them around. A sticker on the up plate. Oh, I'm not sure what that means. Am I being dense? Apologies if I'm being dense. So I'm just lining up my my card base, and my scallops are going to help me figure out where I want this the bend and the crease to be. So I'm just going to use my scoring tool. Oh, I've moved it there. So just be careful that it doesn't move. There we go. So, and that's going to help me line up my crease. And then I'm just going to bend this back one way. And, oh, throwing it around, bend it that way. So that just so that it moves a little bit. And that's where we're going to add our adhesive, which is easy for me to say, to put our card base together. And to do that, I'm going to use some liquid glue, because that will hold it much stronger. And because we've got scallops as well, you know, it's much easier than trying to get tape into those little scalloped areas. Oh, got a very strange notification there. So, and then we'll just line this up on top, like so. And again, that bit of liquid glue just gives us the time to be able to just line those up properly. And you can see we've got the little crease line on the back there. Don't know why this is doing this to me. There you go. Sorry, it's me. Whatever side is faced up, then turn them over the next time and swap them around regularly. Oh, I see. Oh, do you know what? My dishwasher needs to go on when I go down. So I'm going to try that. I am going to try it, and I will report back and I will let you know. So there we go. That just needs a bit of time to dry. But now we've got our little card base that stands up, but we're going to have it stood up this way. So it works, obviously works both ways. And it's a lovely sturdy card because that's the lovely sturdy cardstock. So the background then, and that looks really cool against the brown, don't get me wrong, but I think we're going to need a bit more colour. So again, I'm going to refer to our colour scheme here. And I love the combination of ground espresso. I think it's the ground espresso. Is it the ground espresso? It might be. I'm sure it is the ground espresso. I went through a bit of a stage of using this quite a lot in some of my combinations. So I'm going to do a little test on here because I can't quite remember what combinations I've used before. So we'll do a little test run. But I think maybe mustard seed, maybe a bit of wild honey, because these are, you know, matching up with, oh, I think maybe the fossilised amber looks like a nice kind of match, doesn't it? And then moving into more of an orange, so the crackling campfire and the Carve Pumpkin are all really lovely. And then the ground espresso. I feel like it wasn't ground espresso. Let me see. It must have been. I do think the seedless preserve is a great colour as well. Aged mahogany, it wasn't. Yes, that's the one. Aged mahogany. And then obviously the ground espresso is a great addition colour to make it into that lovely, bring it into the brown. But the aged mahogany is amazing. I knew I'd not quite got it right. Now one of these is going to be a really nice kind of brown shade. I think possibly, because the colours on the side don't really represent what they actually are, and the colours on top don't either. So I'll keep the Ground Espresso, as I feel that might be a good shout. So let's do a little practice. So I'm just having a look at these. They actually go back to their original orientation, all to do with lining up molecules, says Alice. And you do yours every 3 weeks and it gets rid of tiny paper hairs, which is excellent. I'm too scared to put my plates in the dishwasher for fear they might warp. Saw a video with Jennifer Maguire, says Annalisa, with pots and hot water. How do they stay straight and not warp when they go in the dishwasher? Might try it with an older set though. I've never wanted a dishwasher as much as I do tonight. I am going to experiment tonight, and do you know what? It's, you know, what's the worst that could happen? So I've got, because they're warped already, so I've got a bit of my, I need my silicone mat actually. Bear with, what have I done with it? I've been doing a bit of crafting this afternoon with my niece. So my niece came over to see us today. Her mum, my sister, was doing some overtime, so she needed some help, some extra babysitting help. Although, you know, she hardly needs babysitting; she's 11. But she's really artistic. She really enjoys art, and she's really intrigued by the craft room. So she came up here to join me and help me, and it was so cool to have her here and, you know, be able to share some of this with her. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was lovely. So I've got a little bit of the wild honey that I think I'm going to use as a, I was thinking of using as a transition colour, but it's almost the same kind of yellow as my fossilised amber. So let's try some Carved Pumpkin. Alice says, would have loved an auntie like you. Bless. That's it. I mean, she's like looking at all of this, all of the goodies here, you know. So she's gone home with some bits to play with at home, some stencils and ink and brushes, and yeah, we made a little card for her mum, which was really cute. So yeah, it's been a lovely afternoon. That's after she's spent about 3 hours on Fortnite on the Xbox first. You know, the crafting came second to that, obviously. So we're gone into the orange. Boiling water on the Gemini plates, boil kettle, pour over the plates, let cool, and they were so much better. Yes, so I've tried that, Laura Ann. That's been my technique up until now, is doing the boiling water and then doing the like little bit of a bend to them. I think this brush is very thick with ink and needs a bit of a clean, so I might have to give this one a bit of a clean. I think this is the only one that I will have cleaned actually, because I haven't really needed to clean any of the others, but this one feels like it's got quite logged with ink, but it's still obviously producing a lovely blend there. And I'm just adding a bit more of the Carved Pumpkin, which is a little bit lighter. And I don't know why I'm, you know, putting all this effort into it, because obviously we are going to be, this is just our practice one. So for the aged mahogany, I'm going to use, oh, come on, spin round, there we go. I need my brown, so let's use this one to just, oh, I love this colour so much. I don't know why I've put that with the reds and the pinks, but it does have that kind of, you know, a bit of a burgundy hue to it. But I love how this just screams autumn to me, this colour scheme. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm in love with that, totally in love with that. And let's try the Ground Espresso. I'm hoping this is going to match in with our that dark brown that we've done for the for our card base. Love it. Yes. So I think we've made a good choice there. That's a really nice transition of colours. So I've got, in the end, we've gone with Fossilised Amber, some Carved Pumpkin, Crackling Campfire, Aged Mahogany, and then Ground Espresso. So that's my colour choices. Natalie says, the colours you're using are so beautiful, I need more Distress Oxides. It does say Bonfire Night, doesn't it? I do love these colours, they're so gorgeous. So, and this piece of scrap, almost, isn't it? It's because it is just a discarded piece of cardstock. Actually, we can use that for something else, so I'm going to pop that to one side because we'll definitely use that at a later date, and we'll make a start on the actual piece. And if I just take my white, see how that's going to look over the back of that, it's going to you know, mute it down a little bit, but it's still going to look really, really gorgeous. And then against that brown, the white helps lift it. So I just think that's such a cool combination. So let's try and replicate that then onto our panel here. So, and I'm going to do, I think what we'll probably do is we'll create, I suppose, the lighter portion at the top of the card, and the darker portion at the bottom, almost like that's the ground in my head. So we're going to go to Carved Pumpkin, Crackling Campfire, Aged Mahogany needs to be kind of over here, doesn't it? So I'm just kind of working out how far do I need each of these bits to go for it to work. So now the Carved Pumpkin is going on, and I'm just using a little bit of a softer hand this time, just because I know that my brush is very heavy with ink, and I don't want to you know, to ruin the proper piece that we're using. So just going a little bit firmer now, and just so that we can brighten up that colour a little bit. Yeah, that's awesome. So a little bit more pressure to move that colour closer towards the centre, and then to blend these two areas together, I'm going to go back in with that fossilised amber. Oh, I love it. I do love the Distress Oxides, and one of my most favourite things is doing ink blending because of the brushes. I know a lot of you have heard me say this a million times, that when I had the kind of old school type tools for doing ink blending, I really didn't enjoy the ink blending process because I could never blend out to this really super, you know, smooth airbrushed effect. No matter what I did, it always looked patchy, and just, yeah, I didn't like it at all, the result that I got. Now obviously with the blender brushes, that's all changed. I do have some more stock of the rainbow brushes on its way as well, which is really cool. So that should be with us in the next sort of probably 10 days, I think, is the ETA on that. So probably won't be quite in time for the new release. So for those of you that are on new release watch, our new release will be going live on the 10th, isn't it? Yeah, the 10th of this month, which is Friday. So that means that the couple of days beforehand we will be doing the live reveals here on Facebook, which is next week. Those of you that know what day it is, which I don't. So that means that next Wednesday and next Thursday we will be doing 2 live shows going through the new release. Now this is a smaller release than previous months, just because of the kind of the way that it's fallen, really. No particular reason for it other than it's just fallen that way. We had a really big release obviously the time before, and we've also got a big release coming in October, so it kind of made sense to do a smaller one in the middle. And it is an awesome release, Annalisa. It is really, really awesome. So I'm busying myself making samples. Probably not this evening because I think I might be due for a little bit of an early night tonight. But certainly tomorrow I will be prepping samples of the new release, ready for the website and ready for Create and Craft. So we are also back on Create and Craft on the 12th of September at 3:45 so far, is the plan. Although these things do change last minute. So last time, I don't know if you guys were aware, but we did have a last minute scheduling change. Literally as I got to the studio, they said we need you to go on earlier, and I was like, oh no. I hadn't had a chance to even, you know, get my stuff in there and set up or anything, and they were like, yeah, you're going on in the next kind of 45 minutes. So that was scary. So if that could happen again, there is nothing to say that that couldn't happen. So if you are looking for us, just be, just keep an eye on our social media, because we will always post. As soon as we know of any schedule changes, we will let you know. And Ant always kind of, if he's around, he does help me out with that, because sometimes I don't get a chance to then go back to my phone and post anything, because obviously I've got to go and get ready to set up the show and get myself all set up on you know, on set. So, and you can't have your mobile phone with you on set, you're not supposed to anyway. So you know, it can be a little bit tough then to let people know. So thankfully Ant was able to do that for me last time, and he is going to be around this time. I don't know whether he's going to be able to come with me, because he will have been on nights, so he might not be able to come with me because he might be too tired after being on the night shift. But if he's up to it, he will come with me and he'll give me a hand. But yes, Danielle, I nearly did have a meltdown. It was very, but in a way, it kind of helped with the nerves, because you spend a lot of time building it up in your head to being a really scary thing. And the longer you're waiting to go on, the more likely that is to happen. So sometimes if you don't have as much time to worry about it or think about it, that can be a little bit better, you know. So in a way it was kind of a blessing in disguise, I think. Okay, so I've just done a little bit of the darker brown along the bottom, which I think looks really cool. I'm contemplating whether to pull a little bit more of that Carved Pumpkin. Let me just pop that brush away, because I think I'm done with that one. Up into this this bit of yellow at the top, just because that seems like a lot of yellow now. But I'm not, you know, I'm not mad with that. I'm not mad with that at all. I think that really looks really, really cool. So I'm really pleased with that. I like that. Let me just pop those there, and we'll get rid of this, and then I need to clean my area and pop my yellow brush back as well. And I might do a bit of splattering on the background here, because we do love a good splatter, don't we? So let's just wipe this down. Sorry for the squeaking, if anybody doesn't like the squeaking. Love this even for an autumn sunset. Yes, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I think the aged mahogany is one that is just a little bit of a underused, I would say. So Natalia says I could use my shimmer spray. Oh, actually, I was going to use my shimmer spray with my niece earlier, but we got distracted. I could use the shimmer spray, you're right. I will need to get my box out though, because this does create quite the... it does go everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do this on the floor. So I don't know whether I've got enough room, you see, to be able to show you and use my splatter box. So this is my splatter box, which is made from an old Pampers box, which is not even my old Pampers box because we don't have any children. So I have no idea where I got this from, to be honest with you. But I've given this a really good shake, and what you want to do is really move the shimmer around the mica in the bottom so that it's well mixed in. And then I'm going to get quite a good amount of height on it, and hopefully this doesn't go everywhere else. There we go. So we've got some good amounts of splats there. You only need a tiny little bit. And that will, so what it will do, because it is water based, it is going to pull some of that colour up off the surface. Where's my, get a bit of kitchen towel. Where is it? And we can lift some of the bigger spots off. And that will still give us that effect that great effect that you get with your oxides, where that colour lifts and you get the white kind of space. But when you look at it in the light and you look at it close up, let me just lift some of that as well. There we go. You will see a really beautiful shimmer. So I'm going to try and hold this up so that you can kind of, can you see the shimmer that's on there? It is pretty awesome. So I think that's made for a really, really pretty effect. Love that. Great idea, Natalia. Thank you. I don't normally splatter the shimmer sprays on a live just because I'm always worried about the cleanup. But I think that really that wasn't actually too bad. My box worked really well. So, and it's, to be honest with you, the inside of it now looks really pretty and shimmery because I've used it that much. So we're now getting a little bit of a base that's coming together. So this will dry really, really quickly now. So we can pop that over the top, and that's created as this really lovely autumn background, which, like we say, is very close to the colours in the mood board that we've got on this colour scheme. So now the challenge is to make this work with our image. And this image, I really, really love this image. So let's get this out of here. I'm glad I went for it as well, Natalia. That was definitely down to you. And so we've got this little guy here. And he's quite a good size stamp. So he's going to make a good focal point. And then we can also have our sentiment as well. So let me get some of my cardstock here. So this is our pre-cut A6 size cardstock, which is also alcohol friendly cardstock. So it's perfect for our stamping. And I've got my stamping platform. Okay, the background die is going on my wish list. It is a very cool background die, and again, it's one that we brought out around Valentine's Day, but I think can be used for so many things because it's really quite delicate, and I do like that. So position that on there and try and make sure that I'm not going to move that around, and I'm going to use some of my Memento Tuxedo Black on here. So has anybody else here in the UK experienced a really weird day that started off grey and miserable and then has turned into beautiful sunshine? Because we have here in Sheffield, it wasn't particularly nice. In fact, it was cold enough to think, oh, shall we put the heating on? Oh, shock horror, heating on at this time. I mean, wow. It goes through me having to put the heating on again. Oh, perfecto. So yeah, and then this after, so obviously my niece has been here and we've been inside. She's been on her video games, we've been crafting, and then as she came to leave, the sun came out, and Ant and I went for our little daily kind of walk, and it was absolutely boiling and we were both sweating by the end of it. We're like, well, where did that come from? I'm not complaining because I'm desperate for some more sunshine in my life. But yeah, it just came as a real surprise. So for my sentiment, just thinking ahead to the sentiment situation, do I want to do it like kind of white onto the brown? That might look quite cool. While we're doing some You Are So Sweet, or Sweet Friend, You Are the Cherry on Top. So we could do one at the top there. I think I'm going to go with the You're a Sweet Friend. So I'm going to do this while we're stamping. I'm going to try it. Mela says, I'm definitely not ready for the heat. I'm in denial about summer being over. Exactly, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to use this set, because you know, I'm not ready for summer to be finished. I'm enjoying making summer cards still. I don't want to make Christmas cards of all things. Not yet. Alice says, no, in Northampton, grey and cold, socks on and nearly fleece. Oh no, that's what I was like last night though. We had the heating on. Natalia says, they had a tad of sunshine in the afternoon, but yes, it's freezing. Yeah, I think the temperature's definitely, you know, taking a drop now for sure. So I'm doing that in a weird way because I don't actually want to just pop that into my into the powder that I've just put on there. So I'm just going to stick it to the thing there. There we go. Right, my what have I done with that? Oh, my embossing ink is here. But it was, going back to my niece's visit, it was so lovely to be able to show her some of the, like, the different techniques, show her the things like the stenciling techniques, the alcohol markers that we use, you know, that we, now I kind of think, you know, I take a lot of these things for granted, you know, but somebody who's never seen these things before, she was just like, oh, wow, that's so amazing. And yeah, she did. She loved it. So yeah, it was really cool. And obviously then to be able to show her, you know, these are all the things that your auntie has designed and had made into products that people can play with. Again, was just really cool, you know, because it's something that she's not seen before. So let's have, especially, you know, with her, I suppose she's really grown up during lockdown, and I've not seen her for about 18 months. So you know, she's changed so much in such a short space of time. So it was lovely because now she understands it all and she's interested in it, whereas before I think she was just a bit too young. Jane's got her heating on. Danielle's got her fan on. Interesting. Holly is in Florida and it's 96 degrees there, but I miss wearing sweaters and fall trees. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear me over this noise, so I shall shut up for a moment while I just do this. So the reason I was thinking about, you know, my niece then and like showing her some of these things that she's never seen before. Imagine if I'd shown her heat embossing. Oh my God. She'd have been so in love with it, because that was one of the things that when I first saw it, I was like, I need to do this. This needs to be part of my life. How do I get hold of that? Annalise says she's loving the cooler weather. It's been so hot lately. Much more pleasant walking in this weather. Yeah, it is. You know, a bit easier to walk around in the cooler weather, and you get mad weather compared to us. You know, we think it's hot if it gets above 60 degrees. So, back to the point about, you know, missing the sweaters and fall leaves. I must admit there is something lovely about autumn and fall. I do really enjoy it so much, but I've just don't think that we've had enough summer. That I think my complaint is not so much that autumn is coming, it's just coming too soon because we've not had enough summer, have we? I think certainly not in this country. I know it's not the same in other countries, and I know in the States there's been some real hot weather, hasn't there? But here it feels like we've not had anything. You know, we've probably had a couple of days of it, and we always joke, you know, we have a day of warm weather and we're like, oh, that's it, summer's over. And that actually was true this year. That was actually a true thing. So let me get my my background out here so that I can figure out what I'm going to do with my little cat here. And I think I'm going to make him into a ginger cat, because that obviously goes with our theme. And this is my little ginger cat colour map that I've done previously, and you guys have seen me do this this colour map theory before, and when I've got a new kind of image that I like the colour scheme that I've used, I've stamped it out and then I've made a note of the colours that I've used, just so that if ever I do that again, I can just refer back to it. So that's really, really handy. So I'm going to use these colours here to make my little ginger kitty. And then we can work on the rest of the ice cream. I think we'll start with the cat and work up. So R20 and R20, YR20 should I say? Where are you? YR20. There we are. And Y21 will probably be my starting points. YR14 is gets a little bit more orangey. We've got a YR27. Where's that one gone? Yeah, which is kind of that Tuscan orange, which is a really nice match for our colour scheme. And the YR24, which I think is probably going to be, yeah, that's that one, which is called Pale Sepia, which is cool because you don't want him to look like he's bright orange, you know. And then I've used E93, which is a really pretty pale pink. It's called Tea Rose, and that's nice for just highlighting the ears and cheeks. So if I start with the lighter shades, so this is the Y21, just to start building up some of this colour around And what I've done is I've kept the around his face white, and just adding colour, I guess, around the outsides, and giving, I suppose, giving him like a white face and a white belly is what I'm trying to achieve. I quite like him having white socks as well, and then he'll have the ginger tail. So we've given him a bit of a base of this pale yellow. The YR20 is a little bit more, I suppose, a bit pinkier. So we'll make it a little bit more of an orange shade. Again, not mad in your face orange, because we don't want him to look crazy orange. We just want him to look like a ginger kitty, a ginger Tom. So that's given us a nice base. I'm happy with that. So then moving on to the YR14, this is where we're going to start getting a little bit more of that orangey tone coming through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this more or less in stripes, if you like, because the ginger cats are stripy. So I'm being a bit more, I suppose, a bit more obvious with the strokes here. So this is going to give him the majority of his colour. There we go. But we're still leaving some of that yellowy shade popping through. And with the YR20, I can soften some of those bits, you know, around his ears, just so that they don't look too patchy. But he's already starting to look a little bit more tigery, isn't he? Now we've added those bits. So just blend over those a little bit. Hello everyone. Hi to Sue. Hi Jane. Alice says, absolutely love these lives. There are so many techniques you do and so well too. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you. Actually, do you want me to zoom in a little bit? Because I normally zoom in a bit more, don't I, when I do the colouring. So let me see if I can. Sometimes I struggle to grab my screen. There we go. How's that? That's better. You can see a little bit better then, can't you? And then we've got the let's do the YR24. And again, this is just putting in some extra little stripes. Darken those ears a bit. So again, just adding kind of those bigger tiger stripes now, more obvious tiger stripes. And a bit of depth around some of those areas where there'd be a bit more depth. So it's really building up the colour bit by bit, and then the final bit to really add those touches. If we look at my reference here, I've done a few just little darker stripes in between some of those others to just really just define them a little bit more, and a few on those paws as well. And then on the tail, just doing kind of opposite flicks on opposite sides. Yeah, that's looking cool. For the nose, the ginger cat that lives next door to us has actually got a little pink nose. So I'm going to do pink ears, some little pink cheeks, and a pink nose. And then for the area that's underneath his the ice cream, I'm going to use the warm grey just to add a little bit of shadow, and under the paw there. So it's just the warm grey one that will kind of dry back a little bit so it doesn't look so dark. Oh, have I gone? Oh no, I hope I have not got, I hope you've not lost me. Bear with. I hope you all can see me. My picture's frozen on screen, so I hope, but it seems to be filming fine. All good, is it? Oh, good. It's just my screen's frozen for some weird reason. Oh, am I back? I'm back, yeah. It always scares me when that happens. So, for my ice cream cone, so I haven't got an ice cream cone actually in here. But I do have different kind of shades of brown, so I could possibly use some of those. The E30s I think are a bit of a, what would you say, maybe a dirtier brown, just a bit of a duller brown, whereas this is a kind of a warmer brown shades. So I quite like the bare colours, although that is quite dark, I suppose, for an ice cream cone. So let's have a think. Maybe let's have a look at this. So I like to do a little bit of a test on the side sometimes. Just helps me figure out what I'm going to do. Maybe this is a good, I feel like that colour's too pink. This though, the E21, that might end up being quite a nice caramel kind of a colour. Let me see, E23 is hazelnut. Is that going to be too dark? Potentially. Getting all of the colours out here. So the E33 and E35 could end up being quite a good, good selection. That's the E33 and the E31. Yeah, that's the one that I feel is a little bit too dark. So I'm going to use the E21, the E33, and possibly the E35, and let's although we do have an E34, so we'll have a look at these colours. Got every colour in the world out now. So E21, let's give this a whirl onto our cone, onto our ice cream cone. Yeah, I think this is going to work as a base for that cone. So we're still working in shades of brown, which is going to go with our theme. So E33, sorry, I forgot to share that on the last one. So I'm going to add this underneath and around the edges here, and around this edge also, leaving a lighter portion right in the centre there. Soft Sun is E21. Soft Sun, interesting. I don't know whether I would have described it as anything kind of vaguely to do with the sun, but who am I to argue with the Copic colour designers? So that's my E34, which is the toast, which I think that actually could work quite well. So again, just going to add a little bit more depth around the edges there and in the corners. Actually, you know what, I don't think that's dark enough, so I'm going to go with the E35. That's better. Already I can feel that that's a better colour. And then just under these lines here, which are indicating that there is some shape there, I'm going to add a bit of depth under each of those. Yeah. Cool. So that's the base of our little ice cream there. Let me put some of these back because I'm surrounded by pens now. So now then, for the rest of our card, I'm thinking that the cherry, obviously we can do a really lovely kind of deep red to match the colour scheme. And like I said to you, mine didn't print out very well, but these kind of rich reds were more what was in there, so more a kind of burgundy kind of shade, and this cardinal shade I think is the perfect one. So that is R59, and we also have R56 here, which I think are going to make great colours. They match the aged mahogany really, really well. So I'm going to start with this because this just helps me figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of the design. So a little bit of the R59 just behind there, and just creating a little bit of shape with that. Like so. And so then we've got to think about the colour here. Now you do get kind of orangey coloured ice creams, don't you? Now there is a shade here which is called like a mellow peach, which I think is going to be a really nice colour for maybe doing the ice cream in. So I'm just looking at some kind of orangey type shades that might work for the ice cream. I feel like these work quite well with this shade here, and then we can go with more of a vanilla shade for the for our speak to me, for our, like blob of cream. That's the word that I was looking for. Blob of cream. What's this? Pinkish white. So yeah, these are going to be good colours for the ice cream. We'll keep it in a nice shade of pink, and then we'll go for more of a vanilla-y kind of a shade for the let's have a look. Yeah, I think that will work. So we'll try those. It's all an experiment, isn't it? All a bit of an experiment. This is a really nice colour, isn't it? There's some really pretty colours, and this is the, like I say, this is the bit that I could spend all day just playing with my colours. Pale cherry pink, that's a nice colour also, isn't it? Oof, so many decisions, but I'm going to stick with this now. So, let's try, which of these was the lighter shade? Possibly this one, I think. Oh no, that was quite dark actually. So this one, yeah. So, this is the lightest of my shades. This is the pinkish vanilla. So, I think this is probably going to work for our ice cream. And what I think I'm probably going to do is I'm going to let this kind of almost fade back to white with a YO00 as well. So this is part of the fun of working with a colour scheme as well. So this is the other thing to kind of bear in mind if you're, you know, not used a colour scheme before, is that it makes you pull out colours in your stash that you might not always use. You might have some go-to colours that you always go back to, and you know that this is a good way of just mixing that up so that you are trying something a bit different, some different different schemes and different combinations, and it just takes you a little bit more out of your comfort zone perhaps, and that's a good thing, you know, because you know, you can find a combination that you might not have used before and that might become your new favourite. So it was doing just that really that helped me with discover the aged mahogany, because I think I was working to a sketch actually, and I'd not used that combination before, and as soon as I used it I was like, yeah, this is my new favourite, and I've used it many times since because of that. So you can see I'm just building up those kind of pinkish yellowish colours, and they're making for a really nice combination. So just trying to remember which one I've used, which order I've used them in, so that I can kind of go back over and blend those out a little bit. But I think that's really, really pretty. And then I'm just going to go over with that palest colour last. There we go. And then we said we're going to do kind of this almost, it's going to be quite vanilla-y colour, I think. And that might still be a bit too pink, so let's have a look. What have I got that might be a bit more vanilla-y? Maybe this one is, so this is silk. So this is the YR000. So let's do a bit of a base colour in this. And again, I'm going to leave some white space here because cream is basically white, isn't it? So all we're doing really is just highlighting some of the folds in that cream. We don't want to make it totally coloured. So just to deepen some of those areas, that's where I'm going to use the the mellow peach, and just add that in some of the little creases that have already been drawn in there. So you can just follow the creases that are drawn in. And then the last thing to do is to just add a little bit of something to the stem, and I'm going to make that quite a dark green to just match with some of the tones that we've been using. And that was the YG63, sorry, the pea green. So I think that that's him pretty much finished. So let me put some of these colours away before I mix them all up.
Okay, cool. Natalia says she's off to bed now. Looking forward to seeing this finished tomorrow. See you next week for the new release. Yay! Thank you for joining me tonight, Natalia. You're a superstar. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen so far. And yeah, we'll have the reveal. The replay will be available tomorrow. Here and on YouTube at some point, and also I'll take some nice pictures as well. So that's not the right one, is it? What am I doing? So that's the die for this little chap. And then we've also got a die that cuts out that sentiment as well, which is perfect. So we'll get these ready to be cut out, and I'm going to use my little die cutting machine for these because it's not only is it more convenient, really, it's also not as noisy for you guys to hear. So I'm just going to cut that down a little bit so that we don't have to put the whole thing in. And get my little craft buddy and move that. Pop this here. So using my A plate first, pop my image down and then my die cutting machine, my die, and to put it through my die cutting machine. Can you tell I'm tired yet? So some tape on there so this doesn't move around. Tape on there. I have been up quite early this morning because I needed to get some work done before my niece Freya came round. And so I've been working since about 6:30 this morning on new designs. So not only do we have a new release coming next week, but I am working on releases for, I guess, November and December time. Hopefully with manufacturing we can get them in time for November, because that's really when I would like them for, but it may be a little bit delayed. So that's our first image die cut, which is awesome. And then we can die cut our sentiment now. So just remove the tape from that. And I love that we can die cut the sentiments as well for these. And I am going to do more of that in future sets because I just think it looks so cool to be able to die cut your sentiments. So sandwich those. Doesn't he look cute with his big ice cream? So pop that through there, and then we're pretty much ready to start putting this bad boy together, which is super awesome. You are so sweet. I really like these images. I like that they're a little bit on the larger side as well, which you know, is pretty cool. Come here. So let's pop these dies back in their little home. Let's think about how we're going to put this together. I'll zoom back out. Sorry, I realised that I haven't zoomed back out. That's a bit better, isn't it? Annalisa says she's noticed that Simon's Stamp have started creating stamp sets with dies for the sentiments. I'm a trendsetter. Well, I don't think I started it. I would love to take credit for it, but I don't think I've started it. But I've certainly picked up on it and think it's a great way to do it. We actually were one of the first companies to do it. I will confess to that. And partly that was because when I had my first sets of dies done, I sent the images to the die company and they just did them. I didn't ask them to do it. I just sent the images of all of the stamps that were in the set, and they created the outlines for the sentiments. And I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. But then the more I guess the more metal you use, the more expensive it becomes. And I thought, oh well, maybe that isn't what people want. So I did a few sets without it. But actually, people said they preferred having the sentiments die cut. So I have gone back to it.
And yeah, I think it's a great idea. So it was kind of a happy accident that we came across it in the first place. And I think it just looks so good, and it's so easy. It means you're not having to hunt around or try and chop things up, you know, your sentiments up, because I'm rubbish at that, as you know. So it makes my life so much easier. Okay, let's do that. So I've just added a bit of my liquid glue in various points. I'm not going to try and add any dimension to this layer. However, if you wanted to, what you could do is cut this out of some foam, because it does cut out of foam, which is really cool. And then you can layer the foam underneath it and add a bit of dimension. But I think it looks really cool just on top of that background. And then I can add some dimension potentially to this bit. But do you know what? We've already got quite a few layers here. So I think what I'll do is I'll just add a bit of dimension to my cat character. And not pop him up. And not add any more dimension, if you know what I mean. So I think that is looking pretty cool, and we'll have the "You Are So Sweet" at the top there. Or, I mean, there is we could stack him up at the top there, quite like that, kind of, quite like that. What do we think? Or do we have him at the bottom? I think he stands out kind of neat at the top, doesn't he? So, what glue do you put in the little glue dispensers with a metal tip, says Jackie. So this is Cosmic Shimmer Glue. So you can get the bigger glue pots of the Cosmic Shimmer Glue, and then I just dispense it into these little ones, because I find it easier, to be honest with you, to use the small ones rather than try and use the big ones. So the Cosmic Shimmer large glue comes in I think probably a bit bigger than this, I think. So, and I prefer the smaller ones with the really fine tip, whereas the actual Cosmic Shimmer bottles have a tip like this on it, which is not as directional, I don't feel. So I quite like him up at the top there, with the "You're So Sweet" just there. I think that looks kind of cool. I'm into that. So let's just add some glue on the bottom of here and jiggle that around. And then pop that onto here, and I'll just make sure that I have put it on the right side, because that would be a disaster, wouldn't it? So I'm just lining that up as centrally as possible. I love this. Oh, Jane, bless you. Yes, you've got things to do, so we shall see you soon, hon. So yeah, so I like that. So then I think we'll pop him here, and then he'll stand out against that background, and then the "You Are Sweet" will look there. So I'm having a look at this on screen in front of me, because I think it does just really help me figure out, am I placing this in the right place? And what I do find is quite a nice thing to do is to not do the obvious, which is stick him right in the middle and then try and stick your sentiment somewhere. It ends up looking like it's not been done, I guess, deliberately. And the other option is to add maybe the "You Are Sweet" across our character, which can also work quite well. Again, it just looks intentional then, like the idea is that you have that kind of nestled together which I think looks really quite cool. So I'm quite liking this position here. Again, like I say, it looks quite intentional. Annalisa says the shimmer is so pretty on this background. It really is. It gives it, it stops it looking so flat, I think, doesn't it? It really helps bring out the richness of the colours that we've used. So I've got some foam tape here, and I'm going to add this to the back of our cat image. And we'll just get this foam tape off the back. Let's see if I can remember where I put him. So I think he was kind of sitting in this area here, and then the You're So Sweet was going to sit there, wasn't it? So I think pop him there, and then the You're So Sweet will have just hanging off the edge there. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on this bit, so I know that that's the bit that needs to be popped, that is going to be resting onto my image, if that makes sense. And then I can remove that and pop that on the wonk as usual. Yeah, just on there. Yes, I like that. I think that looks really cool. So I think then the other thing to perhaps do is add some embellishments, but I don't know if I've got any that are the colour that I might need. Let me just have a look at my little stash of embellishments. I've got gold. Gold might work with kind of the autumn theme, so it's kind of that yellow kind of shade, so that could work, I think. Shall we try some of the gold? I think that could look quite cool, couldn't it? A few little gold bits. What do we think? Yeah, I quite like that. So yeah, I think the gold is going to work for us. So I'm going to use some of my glossy accents to pop this on. So I'll pop one of those on there. Might need my pokey tool. Where did that go? There it is. Pop this one just on there. And I'm working with my my sequins and any embellishments. I tend to work in the odd numbers. Much prefer the look of the odd numbers, and I try and kind of keep them, I guess, around the main focal point of my my design, rather than spreading them all over the background. So 5 is a really nice number. It works around the outside. I love to tuck ones just behind sentiments so they're just peeking over the top as well. I think that looks really quite cool, and just adds a little bit of something there. And then finally, I think if I can find some of my Stardust Stickles, I think again, because we've gone with a good bit of shimmer here. I don't know if this is going to come out. I think I've used this one quite a bit. Have I got one that's been a bit less used? What's this one? Oh yeah, this one might work. That one probably needs to sit upside down for a while so that it will work. So I might just prop that up there. Let's try this one. So pretty, says Jane, and love these colours and the heart cover plate. So I think this is a good example of where, you know, we've used an autumn colour scheme with a more summery perhaps traditionally summer kind of a card image, but it's worked for the colour scheme. We've managed to make that colour scheme work, if that makes sense. And then what I am going to do, which I love to do, and what have I done with my glossy accents now? Literally just had them, didn't I? There they are. For the cherry, I'm going to add some glossy accents to that cherry, because I was going to add some highlights with my Jelly Roll pen, but then I thought, no, the glossy accents is perfect for a glacier cherry type look. So that looks milky at the moment, but when it dries, it will dry completely clear, so that you'll be able to see how pretty that is. Where did that live? That lived over there. But I am going to do some highlights to the rest of the image, because, you know, it's that, you know, does anybody watch Laura Basson? Any of her videos? She's amazing. I absolutely love her. But she has like a little jingle where she says, dimension is life, but she kind of sings it, which I'm not going to subject you to. And I'm thinking, you know what, highlights are life for me. I need a little jingle that is kind of highlights are life. But I can't sing, so I won't do that to you. Although I did just do that to you, so I apologise. So that was my white Jelly Roll pen, and then this is my black glaze pen, and I'm just going to use that on the eyes, and I can tell that I've just put my finger in some of that, some of my stickles, but that's fine. So there we go. Done. What do we think? We have now created a summer card in autumn themed colours. Who knew that that could be a thing? But I think we've done it. I think we might have actually achieved it, which I think is super cool. Can someone type her name so I can copy and paste it into YouTube, please? Yes, I'm sure someone will, but it's Laura, B-A-S-S-E-N, I think, Laura Basson. She does a lot of stuff for Simon Says Stamp, I think, I want to say. She's awesome. Yeah, she's really, really good. You'll love her. I love watching her videos. She's very interesting. She's very funny to listen to as well. I think that's why I like watching her videos. So I've done a little bit of a tidy up there. So this is our colour scheme, and I think we've pretty much nailed it. I think we have. We've pretty much nailed that. This obviously looks a little bit more burgundy because we've added that glossy accents, but that will dry back to more of a red colour. But it matches the colours that we've got in our leaves here. We've got the browns, the oranges and the yellows, and we've made, I feel like it's Laura Fedora, that's what she calls herself on YouTube, absolutely. Yeah, and I just think that the chocolate brown, this deep brown cardstock really works well with the ice cream, and because I don't know, it just seems very chocolatey to me and just seems very edible, I think is the word. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that, how that's turned out. I think it's really cute. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's been interesting, and like I think it was Alice who said that there'd been, you know, a few different techniques. You'd seen a bit of colouring and a few different things, and how to use a colour scheme to make I suppose make the colour scheme work for you rather than you try and work with the colour scheme. So just because it's an autumn theme, don't just think autumn. you know, mix it up, use it with some of your other images, and experiment with some different colours that you may not use every day, and you might be able to come up with something, you know, really, really awesome that becomes a new favourite. Right then, I am going to leave you then to your crafting or whatever it is that you're doing, maybe a bit of chilling on the sofa, or, you know, maybe it's time for bed for some of us. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I've loved crafting with you. I've really enjoyed doing this. And like I say, we will have the live replay of this will be on Facebook pretty much straight after this. But then we'll also have it on YouTube tomorrow, and we'll have some pictures up on social media for you to look at as well of the final card. Have a great evening, guys. Please do keep checking social media over the next few days as we start giving you some dates for your diary for the new release, the live reveal, some sneak peeks, and create and craft as well. And I shall see you all next Wednesday for the next live. So see you all then, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. See you soon, guys. Bye. Bye.